Hi, and welcome to Random Rogers Big Picture for the week of September 21st, brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. That's right, we got a corporate sponsor. This is a huge, very lucrative deal for us here at the Big Picture, Random Rogers Big Picture. Just kidding, just a little humor. Okay, so really just one thing on the agenda this week, talk a little bit about the market, who the hell knows what's going on. I'll just try and offer my 2 cents, talk a little bit about some of the action I took on Friday, and just let you know what I'm thinking. I wrote about it a couple of times during the week. The action being just flat out bizarre. Down 59 points, up what I think was 21 points, down 64, up 60, up 48 for the S&P 500. It's just bizarre stuff. Weird, wacky stuff, as Dana Carvey might say, doing Johnny Carson. And can't stay this way forever, obviously. It will return to some sort of normalcy. An increased volatility like this has happened plenty of times before. I don't know about this magnitude over the course of a week, or the number of 3 and 4 point days we've had over the last month or so. But in general, volatility has ramped up many times before. I talked about my opinions with regard to the bailout that's underway, the totality of the program, the bailout aspect, the impeding two-way markets, all of that stuff. It creates a lot of unknowns. There are all sorts of questions, pertaining to once they buy it, what are they going to do with it? Just a whole bunch of stuff. And I don't really understand the huge reaction. I mean, in a way I do, and in a way I don't. And probably most of you are kind of thinking the same thing, on the one hand, on the other. It's very peculiar stuff, and I certainly don't have all the answers, and I don't think it's crucial to have all the answers. I do think there's going to be fallout. I do think we do resume lower. And I think it's possible that maybe it takes a little longer, for us, kind of bumping along the bottom before we get back above certainly the 200-day moving average, which right now is at 1350, or put in the bottom. And if I'm wrong, and we go back above the 200-day moving average, then I'll start to wade in slowly. That's the discipline. It's not trying to be right about solving the world's problems. Just whatever the market's doing, demand is healthy or it's unhealthy, and just deal with that. There's resistance, it looks like, at 1300. As I'm eyeballing the chart, I can see kind of 2 or 3 different trend lines of varying lengths of time converging on that 1300 level. Maybe that will be important, maybe not. There's no way to know. Okay, so I did take a little bit of action. I wouldn't call it meaningful, but nonetheless. I disclosed selling Bank of America on, I believe it was Tuesday. That was the day the market was up. Not a fan of the merger. That looked good for a couple of days, and then obviously the stock skyrocketed up. The big macro there is I don't know that they can digest the merger in a way that is going to be great. They've got some track record before. I wrote about this for TheStreet.com, and I got some emails reminding me about the NCNB, I think it was called Nations Bank merger, which, by the way, Bank of America really is not the San Francisco Bank. It is the Charlotte Bank, Nations Bank, if that's the right name. But either way, I'm very skeptical about that. On Friday, I cleaned up a couple of small positions here and there in terms of selling. Nothing too important, just a little bit of mop up at the edges. I also took a little broader action. I disclosed selling a stock that was up 20% in a day and 10 minutes. I enjoy that line immensely. I think that's funny. But anyway, that one was Quest Diagnostics. Sold it within a couple of minutes of the open. And then later in the day, midday, I ended up selling, and this is more of a widely held name, I ended up selling Marathon Oil. Lightening up a little bit. Hey, all done. Little dogs don't listen. Anyway, lightened up, or I sold out of Marathon Oil. as well. Frankly, with things being the way they are, to me, this is a time to protect assets. So I've raised more cash. You can decide for yourself whether it's meaningful or not. I think if we go down a lot from here and SDS continues to work, which I'm hopeful of, then I do think it will be meaningful protection. This is just weird stuff, and I am, particularly focused on the protection of assets. I think that's very important right here, and so I took the action. If I'm wrong, the portfolio will go up. It will simply lag the market, and that's okay. The whole idea is when the market's below that 200-day, and for you it can be, there's plenty of other things it could be. For me, it's this 200-day moving average. That is the time to focus more on protecting assets. The market spends the vast majority of its time above the 200-day. That's a time to let the money grow. Right here, I want to focus more on protecting assets. This type of euphoria, there is no outcome next week, literally none, that would surprise me. A full-on crash, that 1350, it's 95 points away. Hell, maybe we'll get it right at the open. How about that? There is no outcome that would surprise me. Things are not working normally, and that's just something we need to deal with. What you don't need to have is emotions. There's absolutely no reason to get emotional. Whatever this is, if you've taken the same sort of prudent action, you're somewhat protected. Tater, all done. Joellen's out, and so that's why they're acting up. At least this is how I'm positioned. We've taken action. We took action a year ago. We're feeling a whole lot less of this, and so I don't know if I totally whiffed and missed and was, overweight financials through all this. Maybe I would be having an emotional reaction. I don't know. I don't think so, but who knows? But whatever. We are where we are, and I'm not feeling the least bit of emotion. I will admit to being perplexed, is trying to figure everything out, trying to know what questions to ask, what things will be the things that matter. That is just a fascinating time. From where I sit, it's just an amazing, like that proverb, these are incredibly interesting times. Alrighty, that's it. Have a good weekend.